Hello and welcome back to another video on the F1 Journal, and today we are looking at the F1 sprint format in 2023 and whether it's been a success or not, or whether it needs to be changed. And yeah, this is kind of an interesting one because obviously the sprint format was obviously revised at the start of this year, so now we had the sprint kind of as a standalone event rather than setting the grid for Sunday's Grand Prix with a shootout on Saturday morning and sprint on Sunday afternoon. And in some ways I like it because obviously there was one of the complaints about the sprint last year is that drivers won't take risks, etc, etc. And yeah, that I think that in a way kind of was true because they didn't want to risk time back at the Grand Prix. But yeah, this year I think we have seen better sprint races. There's been a few decent ones. There have been some absolute snorefest like COTA, but I think there have been some decent races. So I think you can definitely say that. But yeah, at the same time, there's just a lot of things that I correct about it. You know, like tyre choices throughout qualifying. And that just doesn't work for me because it just seems like we never have drivers setting their best lap times. You could say it's a challenge, but at the same time, for me, it takes away from the absolute thrill of qualifying at the end of it. So yeah, that definitely is a negative. And then kind of the session timings as well, like qualifying for the Sunday Grand Prix on the Friday, and then a whole separate day for the sprint, just kind of crushed into the middle of the weekend. For me, yeah, it just doesn't make much sense. And yeah, so it seems like something that's thankfully going to be rectified for next year with it's going to be sprint qualifying on the Friday, and then you've got the sprint race on Saturday morning, which will be interesting, and then qualifying in its usual Saturday afternoon slot, which I think lots of people would be in favour of. The other thing, like the sprint race, you've got a very good indicator of what's going to happen on the Sunday, the main event, the Grand Prix, everything that builds up to, based on what happened, the day before, and that's something we don't want. We want to go into the race with the anticipation of what's going to happen, etc., etc. So yeah, it's an interesting one, a sprint one. Does it bring massively loads for the weekend? I don't think so personally. I'm quite happy with the usual bog standard weekend. Max Verstappen, I think, probably agrees with me, but at the same time, I can see the logic in it. It gets rid of it. We've only got one practice session these days. That after that it's all competitive running, and that definitely is exciting for the fans. The energy, etc., etc., is really exciting. But does the sprint bring much? Are they usually terribly exciting? Personally, I would say no, which is why I've got a split opinion on the sprint. Yes, it's good in some ways, but at the same time, it does carry around lots of negatives. And yeah, I have to say it is something I remain unconvinced by. But I think maybe the format change for next year will help it. But have the sprints been a massive success in 2023 for me this year? Personally, I would say no. But that could also be down to the dominance of Max Verstappen. What would it be like if he had a more competitive season, etc., etc.? Because let's face it, 2023 hasn't been the most thrilling season on its own. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. But anyway, guys, that's it here. Thanks so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and subscribe for daily F1 news and subscribe to the channel. It's really greatly appreciated. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.